Happy Friday, guys. Welcome to Brush Your Bat for Friday, June 25th. Brush Your Bat will be a very poorly produced one-take show running through the majority of the MLB slate, some power rankings of the knickknacks. When we get to college basketball, we will do a brush your ball, bounce your ball. But yeah, we'll improve together over time. It's going to be a little rough to begin with. If there's anything else I can help with, please let me know in the comments or whatever. Yes, the set is currently the foyer. For those of you joining from TikTok, you know Dino isn't feeling well and we're confined to the living room, dining room area. We will move back up to the more aesthetically appealing study once he feels better in soon due time. The slate today, we have a Phillies-Mets doubleheader. I don't think the Phillies are bettable right now. I think you have to take the Mets or watch. The way that National Series, the way those games ended, I think that's the kind of moment you look back at the end of the season and you go, our season did die there, didn't it? I think the culmination of the on-field and the off-field stuff, the way Girardi's torn this team apart from the inside out. I had such high hopes for this team, the way Didi Gregorius leads it, the way Harper's kind of transformed who he is, and Girardi has ruined all of it. It's the Segura stuff earlier in the season, not the easiest guy to get along with, but kept making scenes like that. But this, embarrassing your team publicly over and over again, and now charging one of the best pitchers in baseball, dude. You are my backup catcher, but you're a backup catcher. Sit down. I'm very happy you're not leading my boys in pinstripes any longer, but yeah. So I think we have to look at the Mets in both spots. Game one, it's Nola Walker. I don't see lines out yet, but I think we can play up to minus 135, minus 140. We like Taijuan Walker, but we give Aaron Nola the due respect he's due, even if he's pitching like shit right now. Game two, all hands on deck. I think we take up to minus 170. Moore versus Peterson. It's Matt Moore in the way the Phillies are playing right now. I am in. The Nationals plus 125 over the Marlins, and the over 7.5. Continual disrespect, more of it that will lap up. Just disrespect against a wily vet in John Lester. Some of it I understand being warranted here. The Marlins against lefties, they hit him well. They probably do get a little bit off of Lester, but we're acting like Johnny's absolutely done. He can still make pitches when he needs to. Listing off some peripherals that display this, exhibit this. 34+% outside the zone swing rate, 84% zone contact rate, 10+% swinging strike rate, and a less than 24% hard hit rate. He's making those pitches. It's a little worrisome. I saw this graphic recently, and it was since they started doing the whatever glove, belt, hat, whatever check for substances, the Lester's had one of the biggest declines in spin rate. We're actually going to reference that list a couple times throughout this. There's a couple guys pitching today on that list, but that's not ideal. But he's a wily vet. There's young bats. I trust him to do enough. The Nationals offense is hitting its stride right now. Yes, Pablo Lopez is good, but he's not as good against lefties. Schwarber, Soto, switch hitting Josh Bell, all hitting very well right now. Castro, former teammate, very familiar. Harrison's compact swing. I don't know. I think this lineup is starting to get sneaky dangerous when you have Starling Castro and Josh Harrison in the 6-7 or 7-8 spots. I think the Nationals win this game 50+% of the time. We will take them. Pirates Cardinals over 8.5. I lean the Cardinals as well. It's just really, really hard for me to buy St. Louis stock with how they've been playing lately, but it's a really good get-right spot for them. Another guy that's on that list we just referenced is Will Crow. I think they get right against young Will Crow. I just don't want to pay minus 165 to see it. The Pirates struggle against lefties, but they are hitting very well right now, stringing together innings. Really liked what I saw from them against Cleveland, and it's hard to know what this Kim character is, right? Like last year, his overall stats are much better, but the peripherals are like way worse. And then this year, much better peripherals, but he's kind of pitching like shit. He's from Korea. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say positive regression, but even if we do all that with the lefty matchup, he doesn't pitch very deep, and I think they get to the Cardinals bullpen either way, so I like the over there. I take the Cardinals. I'm not mad at anybody that does it. I'm not personally going to. The Rays minus 150 over the Angels. It'll be fun to watch Kevin Cash dance, managing circles around Joe Madden all weekend. This is another game that like I watched the other day and it just screamed like issues. The Angels Giants games for both teams, but specifically the Angels. I think they're dealing with the brunt of the karma from treating Albert Pujols like that, dude. You don't treat somebody like that. By the way, I was talking with my buddy about Albert Pujols the other day. He didn't know. Albert Pujols was like a super late draft pick, like in the 20-something round because he was like a shortstop and stuff. I read about it in that 2% whatever book about Andrew Friedman and the Rays. Really good book. If you're into baseball and like whatever nerdy stat shit and whatever. But the Rays minus 150 over the Angels. Yeah, that loss was absolutely brutal. The amount of runners left on second and third with one outs, no outs, so you don't score. Just like late in the game, the Giants are trying to feed you the game and you just being like, no, I don't want anything to do with the dubby. And then what? If anybody has insight, I'm very interested in Griffin Canning. It makes no sense because I used to be really high on this kid, but it's just like there's something clearly wrong because this sporadic start schedule where it's like 6 days off, 7 days off, 8 days or more off, doesn't make any sense. I don't know how a young pitcher is going to grow like this. I mean, maybe it's injuries keeping him back, whatever it is, but he's in left field the other day. What are we doing? I don't understand. Because like his first season in the bigs, you go back and look, and he was pitching like, every 5 days, and you saw the arc of his season. It's like, okay, improvement, and now it's being stunted, and I don't understand because he's got the stuff. I don't think it's going to work here. And it's just like, I don't understand that Angels lineup also. It's like, regardless of the season, regardless who you put in, it just manages to not work. I don't know what it is. Trout or no Trout, that lineup just doesn't work, doesn't produce the runs it's supposed to. We are going to take the Rays. We're not going to take much Angels or Phillies for like the rest of the season. I really don't like the situations in either of those cities. The Royals minus 105 over the Rangers and the under 8.5. That one's juiced. I had to buy minus 115 there. We have a buy sign on Royals stock. I think people were way too high on them earlier in the season. The pitching just wasn't good enough. I like the lineup too when it's healthy. But the sentiment was way too high then. I think we're bottoming out nicely now. Started to see signs of life the last few series. Good signs of life against the Red Sox, and that was still fine against us. We're just playing so we just pull these weird. I don't know what magic we have as the Yankees. It doesn't make sense. It's like some weird voodoo-y. I'm not sure what kind of magic, but we do have some magic. The Rangers really struggle against lefties. They're facing Mike Minor here, who is very good. I think he continues to roll. And I think he's going to outpitch in like whatever, a low-scoring like 3-1 game or something. But I think he's going to outpitch Dunning. And I like taking the under here because Dunning is due for some positive regression. He's one of those guys, he's like, I put him in like the same bucket as like Dylan Cease a couple years ago or something, where like a lot of sharper-minded people are very high on this guy, and he does have some positive regression in the pipeline regardless. They've got like a 384 BABIP against this guy this season, which is just absurd, especially he's got actually pretty good peripherals and like eye test, all that. Expect some regression out of him. The under and the Royals there, the White Sox minus 180 over the Mariners. Yes, the Mariners struggle against left-handed pitching. The White Sox at home against lefties, one of our favorite spots. I think we can play this up to minus 200. Yeah, the simple one. I don't know why I said yes at the beginning of that. The Twins minus 120 over the Indians. We'll see if we're indeed pegging like the Minnesota Twins bottom. We pegged it like a week back. We'll see if it holds. I do think it's kind of like the bottom. There's just a little too much talent for them to just completely turn into just the bottom feeder of bottom feeders. I like Cal Quantrill too for an inning and a half, for 2 innings max. And I think the Cleveland bullpen in general is due for regression, especially the back end guys. So I think we have a little bit of an out card, but I think the entire bullpen as a whole, the names just don't match up to what they're producing or the eye test. Like this Karinchak guy, he's going to get hit some. I do like Klaus or whatever, but I think as a whole, they're due for some. If I'm remembering correctly, if he came from like the Mets or something, from their organization, I want to say he did, but this Cologne kid, he's like a crafty lefty. I think that's a decent matchup here against Cleveland. Like Naylor, some of those hot bats, like Zimmer, I think you can quiet them. And then just keep it together against Rosario and them, dude. But I think we have a little bit of the out card with the bullpen. I really think some Cleveland regression's coming to that bullpen. Just the eyes don't match the success. You're like pitching Brian Shaw and stuff, dude. Like, what are we doing? The A's -110 and the under 8.5 there. I like this spot a lot for Sean Manaea. He's clearly making strides coming into age as a pitcher, and I think he's running into the Giants' bats at the right time here. Referencing again that Giants-Angels extra innings games, the Giants were just trying to give it to them. Like their offense completely died on the hill, and especially against the lefties, the Angels were bringing out the pen and stuff. They were just having a really rough time. And the Giants also are like a top 6 team or something against lefties, and especially their average is only like a 240 or something against them, but they're producing a lot. I think they're also due for some regression in that spot. That is one where if I had the producer, I think he'd come in and slice something in. But just from a eye test wise, I'm not sure that San Fran should be like a top 6 team against lefties. Now, the big favorites on the slate, Milwaukee, the Dodgers, Toronto, and San Diego. I'm cool with anyone taking any of those. I don't think there's a ton of value on the other side of any of them. 2 reasons why I'm not taking those games. So I'm not taking Toronto because Manoah is another guy that's on that list. I want to take them because I watched that Blue Jays-Orioles game like last week when we bet the over against Harvey, and I think Harvey basically pulled out every like vet trick he had in the book against the Blue Jays in that game, and by the end of it was basically fuming out, and I think those fumes just completely putter in this one. But he is a vet, and I don't know, Toronto, whenever you think they're gonna they're like a flip backwards team. It's like when you don't think they're gonna perform, they perform, and when they do, they don't. Whatever. I'm not mad at anybody. The Dodgers lineup's just performing so poorly, but I'm not mad at anybody that wants to take them. Arrieta is another guy who made that list we were talking about with the declining spin rate. I think that's it. Yeah. I think that's Brush Your Bad episode 1 concluded. Happy Friday, guys. Have a great weekend.